And welcome into our second edition of the fall sports season. We are back here at Sports Den. Matt Dean, welcome you into our studio here in Blaine. The State Fair has wrapped up. The fall has begun. We're coming off the Labor Day holiday, marking the end of the summer, and that means we are into the thick of the fall sports calendar here across our area high schools. We'll be talking Blaine, we'll be talking Centennial, we'll be talking Spring Lake Park. Our theme for this week, things not going according to plan. Some slow starts by a few of our teams. And then, of course, how about some irregular weather? We had three tornadoes touch down in the area here as recently as Thursday. That threw a wrench in a lot of the opening night plans for high school football, as well as other sports. So on this episode of Sports Den, we'll be taking you through some girls tennis action for all of our local area schools. We'll also catch you up on the first, what was supposed to be Thursday, ended up being Friday night afternoon lights anyway for much of the state, as we'll get right into our football highlights to start the show. Centennial, one of those teams that were scheduled to play on Thursday night, it got kicked back because of weather to Friday morning, a 10 a.m. kickoff in Coon Rapids. The Cougars were up for it. Number 38, Caleb Melzer, with a 2-yard touchdown score, opens things up for the Cougars. And then how about this? Play fake into the flat. They find Kellen Binder. Hang that in the scrapbook for Mr. Binder, a 10-yard touchdown catch, and the Cougars up 2 scores, 2 drives into the game. And then Cougars dropping back, known for their running game. Max Johnson goes up and gets this ball. A 60-yard scamper and score from way downtown. Max Johnson with a touchdown. Cougars up 3 scores early, still in the first half. Coon Rapids punting deep in their own territory. Evan Just gets his mitts on it for the Cougars. Senior Aiden Evans recovers it for the score in the end zone. 28-0 Cougars, still 7 minutes to play. The Cougars would threaten in the red zone, and Caleb Melzer would sniff and find the end zone again, his second score of the day. And Melzer not done. He'd find the end zone again before it was over. A third quarter score, opening it up for Centennial. The Cardinals recovered a fumble, but too little, too late. Centennial moves on to 1-0 with a 42-0 win. On to Friday afternoon, a little later in the day, the Spuds beat the Panthers 28-13 last year, and Moorhead traveling to SLP. Sophomore quarterback Jed Feeney finds Rufus Kermey, who had a big game against the Panthers last year in Moorhead. He opens up the day with a 42-yard score. Tay Rich, who's got a D1 offer, the running back from Kansas State, finds his way into the end zone from 5 yards out. Spuds scored twice to go up early. Junior Lamari Brown, already a 1,000-yard rusher in his Panther career, opens up the scoring with a 1-yard touchdown. 14-7 now. Feeney over the middle finds his favorite wide receiver, Rain Battle. He fumbled in the end zone, but after he had crossed the plane, a 13-yard score, 26 after the missed PAT. Feeney back pylon to Owen Fieldgis for a 3-yard touchdown there. Spuds scored in their last 3 drives to go up 26-6 before the half. Into the second now, Feeney would make it take it as he finds Battle, no Fieldgis on that pass down the middle, a 19-yard catch and score, making it 34-6. E.J. Monluo would punch it in from 3 yards out for his first varsity touchdown for the Panthers to respond, with the Spuds with another long touchdown completion. This one 25 yards to the back corner, finding David Mack and putting this one out of reach just about for Spring Lake Park. 41-12, 2 minutes left in the third. Madison Sua, a junior running back, navigating through Minneapolis traffic. A long touchdown run from 45 yards away, and the Spuds open up the lead even further. Kalen Truckenbrod in the passing game, a bright spot for SLP. 4 catches for 81 yards, including this 35-yard score in his varsity debut. It cut the deficit to 48-18. Brown, who was bottled up for much of the first half, found some running room late in the fourth quarter. A 48-yard score, his second tutty of the day. Too little, too late for Spring Lake Park as the Spuds end up running away with this one. 55-25 was your final after a late touchdown, and Moorhead, with the commanding win, goes to 1-0 and 2-0 all-time in a pair of meetings against Spring Lake Park. So taking a look at what we have from this game, total offense 318. It ends up being for Spring Lake Park, but a lot of that coming in the second half after the Panthers were bottled up to less than 70 in the first half. The Spuds unofficially totaling 360 yards in this game, 192 passing, and 5 touchdowns from sophomore QB Jet Feeney, whose dad was a great quarterback at NDSU, and Feeney, the younger one, who was 6th in the state in passing last year. Tough loss for Spring Lake Park, but Moorhead looks like a potential Class 5A state tournament contender. So Spring Lake Park goes to 0-1 in the season. We'll check in back at the 6A ranks as Blaine traveled to a tough road environment to take on STMA in week 1, one of the 3 teams that Blaine notched a win against last season in a 3-8 campaign. Sophomore Cooper Henson here with a big catch and run for the Knights on the opening drive of the evening. He would get it into Blaine territory for the first time for STMA. They'd find a completion out in the flat to Cale Johnson, who would again set it up just outside the 10, but the Knights bending but not breaking was the Blaine defense. They settle for a 27-yard field goal to make it 3-0. Sam Shaughnessy, the talented dual threat quarterback, he knows the 5 Ds of dodgeball, dipping his way out to the 40 where he's wrestled out of bounds. Shaughnessy would tuck it off here to Caden Lawagi, big carry off the left side for Blaine. Bengals would again get deep into STMA territory, but settle for the field goal, and these 2 teams traded blows, tied up at 3 early in the first quarter. Sam Shaughnessy, we said a dual threat. He's known for doing this, a long scramble and run to get out into space, and once again setting up a dangerous drive here for the Bengals. Shaughnessy in the pocket this time, coming up with a big completion down the field. Bengals inside the 30. Muiz Foashir, one of several Bengals making his varsity debut, found the end zone from 5 yards away, but a flag waved that play off. Bengals would still get the touchdown and go up 10-3. Shaughnessy would find some room, a 66-yard score right before halftime with 10 seconds left to go till the break, a potential backbreaker and a huge one on the road for Blaine, who went up 17-3. Into the second half now, Zach Larson would take the carry and a big chunk play, one of his 14 totes for 99 yards on the day for Blaine in this one. Foashir, we said his touchdown that you saw earlier was waved off. This one would stand, a 5-yard score for Foashir's first touchdown as a varsity player. Caden Lawagi, he was a big threat as both a running back and a receiver. A big play here in the passing game downfield on the completion with Shaughnessy. And then Larson would finish the drive off after Lawagi was down at the 1. 30-3 Bengals after this score with about 1 minute left to go in the third quarter. STMA lining up at an I formation. They would get a consolation touchdown late in the fourth quarter. This one brought the Knights back within 20 after they found the touchdown from Anderson, also converted the 2-point conversion. But Blaine hangs on for the road win, 30-10 your final, as the Bengals make it 2 in a row against STMA. So Blaine and their rival Centennial, who we'll take a look at a bit later in the show, both get out to 1-0 starts. This game did get underway as initially scheduled on Thursday night. And how about the offensive showing for the Bengals, who put in over 500 yards of total offense, and Shaughnessy, a true dual threat, reaching the century mark in both the passing game and the rushing game, and accounting for a touchdown through the air and on the ground. We mentioned Zach Larson coming up a yard shy. We can find an extra yard in there somewhere in the tape. 1 yard shy of reaching the century mark in his first game as a starter. And the Bengals just all kinds of weapons all up and down the field as they go to 1-0 on the season. So we're all caught up on the high school football ranks from week 1 between Thursday and Friday. Girls tennis, our second and final portion of the show, also getting underway, and there was some weather to deal with, but clear skies on Tuesday as we take you to Spring Lake Park, where the Panthers got their season started hosting Northwest Suburban Conference rival Andover. We're going to start the action in the first doubles pairing. It's Angelina Pha and Aaron Houston repping the Panthers in white, taking on Jenna DeMa and Sam Molzak in the black. for Andover. Competitive back and forth opening set. Panthers took some licks but would take both sets in a sweep. 6-1 and 6-3 were your finals in that one, the win for FA in Houston. On to the first singles matchup, the top matchup pitting Hannah Kumpel of Andover against Santana Wyzanen Sayers of SLP. And a good back and forth in this one too. It would be Kumpel, however, outlasting SWS 6-0 and 6-1 were the finals in a two-set sweep win for Kumpel in this one. And Kumpel, a couple of racket spins in there, played well, picks up the win for Andover. On to the second singles, Erin Sheeta of Spring Lake Park against Celia Molinar for Andover in black. Sheeta had to live up to her name, running all over the court as Molinar had her on the rocking chair in this one. Molinar would win each of the first two opening sets and take this one for Andover. Into the second doubles matchup, Lauren Leet and Abigail Nussbaum wearing the white for Spring Lake Park, matching up with Anna Swenson and Haley Higgins for the Huskies. This would be a two-set dub for Nussbaum and Leet. And with this doubles pairing, the Panthers went up to 2-0 in both of their doubles matchups so far. Leet and Nussbaum breaking it down there with Coach Kiter after the win. On to third singles, Cameron Talbot in the black for Andover against Anna Smolich of SLP. Cam Talbot, a pretty good goalie for the Wild a few years back. Cameron Talbot, equally as prolific up at the net. Talbot would take it in two with her game face on and knock off the Panther opposition here in this one. On to the third doubles matchup. More doubles action saw Allison Peterson and Mia Swinarski get after it for Spring Lake Park, taking on Jenna McHale and Tila Kraus. It's a duo as good as peanut butter and jelly for the Panthers. Peterson and Swinarski would take this one in a sweep, and it was a doubles sweep for Spring Lake Park in all four matchup in doubles competition here against Andover. We finish out the day with the fourth singles matchup. Back to hitting singles, we're at Sayona Sieg for SLP, clashing rackets with Chloe Kumpel of Andover. Both sets pretty even, but 6-2 and 6-4 finals, both won by Spring Lake Park's Sieg, who takes it for the Panthers. SLP sweep the doubles. Huskies would take 3 out of 4 in singles competition on the day, and the Panthers stuck around to break it down.
I've been doing a lot of camps and stuff to work on skills, and I'm looking forward to just trying in every single match and hopefully winning them.
Mostly I've just been working on staying consistent, getting the ball over the net as much as possible, and I'm really looking forward to just getting as many wins as I can in my last season here.
I've just been working on getting minutes in on the court and trying my hardest, and I'm excited for sections this year.
What I've been doing most is just getting more court time, playing as much as I can, and practicing by myself too. Something I'm looking forward to is sections very much.
And I've been working on my backhands and serving and just being more consistent with my shots this year. And I'm looking forward to just keep playing with this team and hopefully get some more wins.
And I've been working on double strategy and trying best to strategize, and I'm looking forward to playing more doubles with my partner Abby and sections.
Panther win in Bright Skies Tuesday, not so much on Thursday. Blaine and Centennial got underway in a cat clash, but some stormy conditions and inclement weather in the area cut this one short. Here's what we got before the storms rolled in on Thursday afternoon. And that is our show, episode number 2 of the fall sports season here on Sports Den. We will have more highlights coming your way next week's show. We'll talk some soccer, some volleyball. Here's the upcoming schedule that we've got. Starting on Thursday on North Metro TV, girls swimming and diving, a cat clash in the pool as Blaine travels to Circle Pines to take on Centennial. Malik Mitchell's going to be on the call for our featured prep football game on Friday night as Centennial go for their 4th straight against rivals Blaine with a 7 p.m. kickoff. We'll go live at 6:55 from Bengals Stadium on Friday night. We'll have more girls swimming and diving action next week. I will be at Centennial for that huge prep football matchup next Friday on the 13th. The last 2 Class 6A state champions, Maple Grove and Centennial, facing off. And of course, the Cougars had a near flawless state championship season last year. Maple Grove handed them their only loss last year in week 3. So that's a big one you'll want to tune into next Friday on the 13th. And that's just about our show. We also wanted to make mention, how about the start for Spring Lake Park girls soccer, who are out to a 3-0 start on the season. Senior Brianna Finnegan has 5 goals in 3 matches. The Panthers have outscored the opposition 16-1. We're here on Tuesday in Blaine. They are playing tonight as we speak against Maple Grove in a big rematch of last year's section final where the Panthers came up just shy of the state tournament. Our thanks to our director, Ted LaRue, A.V. Becker, and Rand Phil, making things happen here in studio in Blaine. I'm Matt Dean signing out. Our 2nd episode of the fall right here on Sports Den.